Mission 1, Ferrying folks. With the Long Island City Ferry Terminal closed, the Long Island Railroad has laid on some older M3 units to provide a direct shuttle service to Jamaica for a short period. The first shuttle service has already begun boarding, head over and prepare it for departure. So hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Dust Games Train Sim World, and welcome back to the Long Island Railroad. So yesterday, we saw the release of these, the M3 units, built between 1982 and 1984. These were essentially the predecessors to the M7s, about a few generations in between, and in some cases, were actually the original M1 trains that ran on the portion of the Long Island Railroads that was first electrified in the late 60s, with the variation between those two essentially being the newer safety systems being installed within the train and cab. So, a bit of old school cool. These trains are now about 40 years old, and certainly a lot of fun to drive. So for those of you who tuned to my stream yesterday, you guys got to enjoy my first reactions to this, and certainly it's been a lot better since then, and I've got more of a grasp of the controls. So head to the front, we'll head to the engineer's seats. Hopefully if the doors on the left hand side are open, the key is still in place, which it is. Nice to know that hasn't been nicked. And yeah, it's prepared to train. So master key comes on, set the reverser to neutral, sets the headlights to bright and tail lights to off. Next is the master brake, that comes to the number 10 position, and hold the charging button for 90 psi of brake pressure. Looks good. Train into forwards, lock the doors, which we can do from this panel over here. Set the key to off and remove that. Close the door, stick the key in there for safety, and set back into our seats. With boarding complete, the shuttle's now ready to depart non-stop to Jamaica. Depart's when ready. Also, it's on the ATC. Before we get going, signals green, doors are closed, train is ready to depart. ATC limit set to 40, although with line speed down at 15, we probably won't be going much faster than that for the get-go. That will do. That will do. So, here we are in our 1980s M3 units. Also another one to our left, and over there is the newer M7. Certainly a fair few differences between the two units. The M3 cab is certainly a lot smaller. With the M7 you could open this door and have this entire section to yourself. And yeah, certainly a lot more close-knit with the controls as well. But with it, a lot more detail especially. I mean, you can look right up to all the buttons, all the panelling, the level of detail. It's a fantastic train just to sit in, even virtually, and drive. I've done a fab job at rendering this train together. So, now leaving the yards. Our next stop will be Hunters Point Avenue. So with a red signal just at the end of that platform, looks like we may be stopping for a couple of moments. Well, it's a fairly straightforward exit point. So there's a few lines ahead of us as well we're going underneath. Which we clear the ATC warning and sound the horn for a crossing. Should have done that a couple of seconds earlier, but hey. And yeah, we're looking good. Looks like a highway bridge. ATC is limited down to 15, so make sure we acknowledge that. Looks like a highway bridge. Or potentially the railway. Nope, definitely a highway. Which means... actually no, if we're now by New York Penn, I believe that actually is the underground line which heads to the station. Yes, it is. So... yeah, main line's below us. Hunters Point Avenue we're just passing through now. And after we head through the station, we'll then connect to the main line where the train will then appear from our right hand side. Acknowledge that. Red signal coming up as well, so get ready to stop shortly. So we actually will pass the Hunters Point Avenue station without much of a problem. a very long platform here as well, I must say. I believe we are a 6-car unit, so not taking the full extent of that for sure. Alright, signals updated to green, 80's up to 40, line speed's up to 30. And we are cleared now to go through the J interlocking. Not a bad train for acceleration, the M3. From a standstill, it is slightly faster than the M7s. But once you start getting to the higher speeds, the higher portions, it starts to slow down a little there as well. And plus, we are going on an uphill stretch of track, so I can imagine that does not play much of a factor in helping the acceleration. That to our right is the underground lines to New York Penn. That over there is also another line that branches out over the top. Otherwise, yeah, it's a fairly standard departure that. All looking good from our parts. So, presumably what will happen now is we will head through a set of points, connect to the main line. And then from there, we'll be allowed to hit the 60 mph speed limits. For now, we'll stick to 30, which is the current line speed. And once I start getting towards the higher speed portions as well, generally I try and stay about 5 or so miles per hour below the ATC limits, just for the sake of, if you are going downhill, allows for slight easier management of the speed. If you are going downhill and realise you're accelerating, you have a chance to act on it before ATC stops you. I believe there is a time limit for Jamaica. Yes, it is 15:21. So we've got 10 minutes of travel time. 40 on the points. I think now that we are relatively stable, start the throttle, and let's get some speed down this time. So yeah, as I say, certainly a lot of fun to drive the M3. Getting a hang of the controls wasn't too difficult in the end. I mean, a lot of similarities that it has with the M7. We do need to stay down below 40 now. Hopefully before we get a penalty. That will do. Yeah, lots of similarities to the M3, although the braking system, you can tell, has got a bit more to it. Especially down to the fact that you can't open the doors or charge your brakes so long you're within 50% brake pressure. So if you're 50% to no brakes, then the train will actually stop you from doing a lot of the safety features. At least with the M7, you could be relatively relaxed. No braking, open the doors, do what you need to. It's a different little mechanism this, but it is fun. And just exterior design as well. I do love it. The engraved double doors, the tiny little windows, which again, you can barely see out of those. Minute little things, those. But yeah, all looking good. Sure, it's going a bit too fast at line speed, so we'll cut back on the throttle a tiny bit. That will do. It's a heavy train, the M3. And so, even on what is a downhill portion of track, we're not really accelerating. Another modern unit just passes to our left. One actual difference as well is, let's say, a tiny little cab. In the M7's more modern trains, you can open the door, and it gives you this entire section to yourself. With this, nope. Door opens the other way, you are confined to a tiny cab. And also, that front row of seats, there's no leg room. I don't know who's going to be sitting on that. Right, up to 60. Let's get going. So now about 5 miles away from J interlocking, which, if my local knowledge serves me right, is the junction just outside of Jamaica. Yes, it is. So enter the interlocking where speed limit starts slow. And then from there we'll make our way to the platform. So there you go, you are accelerating now that we're on a fairly steep downhill portion. And so by having that little buffer between ATC speed and my current train speeds, it's just enough to kind of make small adjustments to ensure we don't have to deal with any penalties. ATC's up to 80 now, so we can accelerate in following. And also worth noting that we're actually on the, what would be the up line. So, in New York on the LIRR, how it works, there are 4 lines which can be interchangeable up and down. So, in the morning, you'll have more trains going into New York, so you have 3 of the 4 lines set for up line. And in the evening, when people are leaving to go home, you have more trains going out of New York, so 3 of the lines will then be set to down lines. And then the signals are interchangeable for both directions as well. So you have the 2 outer lines, which are standard in and out, and then the 2 middle lines, which can be changed for either direction, which is a nice little feature of American railroads. Alright, so we're coming up to speed now. It's not an uphill section of track, so we'll let that slow train down naturally. We only have 4 car sets. Yeah, it's actually smaller than I first thought. M3s came in sets of 2s, and so essentially you'd have 2 end cars connected to create a set of 4, then a set of 6, a set of 8, and a set of 10 I believe is the maximum. Although in some occasions, although rare, you can get 12 car sets as well, I believe. Right, we're 2 miles away from J interlocking, so in a short bit, it'd probably be wise to start slowing down, especially given that the speed limit around the interlocking is about 30 miles per hour. And then the platform into Jamaica down to 15. There's another M3 unit to our left, M7 to our right. That was my train for a second. No, that was the doors closing on the other M3. Another M7. So many trains, my system's barely holding on. And there we have it. Last set of stations before the need to slow down. Alright, so we'll now bring the train down to about 60 miles per hour. Get ready to acknowledge the ATC speed change, which is 40. And there you go, 0.8 miles now to Jamaica. Perfect. Yeah, as I say, it's a very smooth train to drive, the M3. And once you can understand the braking mechanisms behind it, it's a joy to drive. I mean, for those who know me, I've always enjoyed the older style EMUs. I mean, my favourite underground stock was the A60 that ran the Metropolitan line. And some of my favourite mainline trains is the 300 series, the early ones. So the 313, always enjoyed riding that on Great Northern. Some of the more modern trains, at least in my opinion, just don't quite have the same... I don't know. It's like just the same feeling you get in the modern EMU. You don't quite get that in an older style one. And especially if you look at the seating. A lot of newer trains not quite as comfortable to ride in. Alright, so not too far now. Just cross the end of the platform, bring train to a halt. And presumably that is that. Insert door control key, set the key to COM, unload passengers, and then deactivate control. So I actually do shut the train down at the end as well. Alright, a little bit more braking, stop at location. And there we have it. So switch the key to the other sides. Try to get a good view on that. Very particular where this needs to be. There you go. I'm not great with doors. Thank you for riding the Long Island Railroad. So I do know that she needs to shut this cab down, so might as well prepare for that. Our passengers are deboarding, so brakes to 11. Train into box position, headlights will come off, tail lights on. I believe that's 6. Now we then change cabs and then do a shuttle service back to Jamaica. So, lock the doors, remove the key. Where is it? There we go. Good job. Train terminates here, shut down the cab and change ends to return to Long Island City. Sounds good. So, for the most part, we've already done the shutdown. Oh yes, master key goes off as well. Should remember that. I hope you have not broken the mission by doing that too early. Nope. Train wants to go into dim lights, that's fair. So, close that. Heads to the other side. I'm not sure why we close the doors when the train's not even ready to depart just yet, but I guess that's the logic here. Let's just sprint through the train. And final sets. And there we have it. So, not a bad start for the M3. Certainly a shorter mission than others, but enjoyable. Taking the train down from the docks to Jamaica. And also pushed us to level 10 on the Long Island Railroad as well, which is always good. And a gold medal. So, that was the first scenario, Ferrying folks, from the Long Island Railroad M3 scenario sets. There's 3 of them in total, so tomorrow we'll do the second one, and then on Sunday we'll do the third. Man, I've forgotten what day of the week it is now. Shows how long this stuff has dragged on for. But yeah, that was a fair bit of fun. And as always, it's a fantastic train to drive. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Do leave a like if you did. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And yeah, take care guys. And I hope to see you guys again very soon.